On everyone, the Lakers look to have a new sort of Hornets package that may come to fruition. Per Sean Devaney, who is a Celtics guy, Celtics Insider, has like a Celtics podcast. He talked about the Lakers and a new target that they have in PJ Washington. Basically, the deal would look like this. Hornets get Russell Westbrook, 2027 first-round pick. The Lakers would land Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, and Kelly Oubre, which I think is a pretty solid package, right? Like, if the Lakers could do something like this, I wouldn't be against it. Now, obviously, the Lakers and the Hornets have been mentioned in a trade package for months now, right? And we know that the Hornets and the Lakers have had several discussions about Terry Rozier, about several other players. They even at one point were trying to look at 3 and 4 team deals in the offseason. So there's definitely interest in a trade for both sides. Also, in the Charlotte's situation is that, they're tanking. They're terrible. They're not winning games. Move off your vets kind of thing and go and, start this rebuild. Embrace the tank. You got LaMelo Ball who keeps getting injured. So let him rest. Go with the team that you got. Get whatever, expiring pieces you can, and then get off to the races. And one of the only teams that could really make a move to kind of clear all of the Hornets' books and kind of provide, just some guys, some bodies on the floor while they go on this tank route would be the Lakers, right? Now, obviously, Charlotte would plan on just buying out Russell Westbrook, but they could bring up some players. They could move some things. They could do things to kind of fill out a roster and then just, again, embrace the tank. And it makes sense, right? If you can move off of Terry Rozier, 4 years, $100 million, I do imagine that any trade deal, the Hornets would want the Lakers to take on Gordon Hayward just to move off his salary, especially if you're giving up one first. But PJ Washington is a real target, right? PJ Washington could be a solid addition. If you could get Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, and PJ Washington, I would do that all night. Like, I really like Russ. I really like what Russ is bringing, but those three guys would just be so much of a better fit, really add some real depth to this team. You'd get 3 starting level players, right? Now you got your power forward next to Anthony Davis and PJ Washington. You got a 3-and-D shooting guard, small forward and Kelly Oubre, and you got a point guard that can play on and off the ball and Terry Rozier. You could literally start all 3 of those guys with Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Now you got, your starting 5, or you could bring, one of them off the bench. Maybe you bring Kelly Oubre off the bench and keep Walker in the starting lineup. Regardless, you'd have a much better team. A lot of guys really get to kind of fall back into a more natural role instead of having to play, heavy minutes and produce heavy points. Not just that, but this also gives the Lakers an opportunity to have 3 guys that can legit get you 20 points a night, right? Kelly Oubre is playing great for Charlotte this year. PJ Washington is a known guy that can go get you 20. He's still very young. He's going to need to be paid soon. So he's a guy that the Lakers could have not just this year, but for the future. A guy that you could really pay, get bird rights, stuff like that, and kind of build this team, and now you have your team in place for the next several years. I don't think it would be a bad deal at all. I think if the right deal is on the table, the Lakers got to take it. I don't think the Lakers, based on what we're seeing, once LeBron comes back, if LeBron can kind of play into the flow of the team, I really think this team may just make like a minor move, do a minor move, see where you're at, and then kind of reevaluate from there. And if you need to do the big blockbuster trade, you do the big blockbuster trade, say before the trade deadline, something like that. But, I mean, if you could get PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre, Terry Rozier for a first-round pick and Russell Westbrook, I believe you have to do it. Especially if you're the Lakers and you don't think you're going to keep Russell Westbrook beyond this year, those are 3 guys that you could keep for now and the future. I also think still Gordon Hayward, right? I really don't see the Hornets, trying to unload those guys because PJ Washington, if he hits the trade market, I'm sure teams would give up assets for PJ Washington, right? Like, the one advantage the Lakers have over everything is like, hey, yeah, we might not have 3 or 4 first-round picks that we can give you, but what we do have is we have players that are on expiring deals that could just take all of your long-term salaries, right? We could take Gordon Hayward. We could take Terry Rozier, right? Now that has a value in and of itself. That is worth, a couple first-round picks in and of itself based on the history of the league, just seeing what guys have to give up to unload salaries and contracts. And yes, they're great players, but they're still on long-term salaries. Gordon Hayward has just a rough injury history, although I do think Gordon Hayward on the Lakers next to Anthony Davis and LeBron James might be one of the best fits in the league. Like a Swiss Army knife, guy that can shoot the ball, play defense, doesn't mess up. You can run your offense through him. You know, he's just a solid all-around player, but his salary and the injury history is a real concern. But if you can get PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre and Terry Rozier, or some combination in that deal, I think that alleviates some of the risk that you're taking for Gordon Hayward, because you do have enough talent around those guys to where if Gordon Hayward does miss some ample time, or say he does end up, knock on wood, missing the entirety of the season or something, it's not going to kill you to where it's like, man, like we don't have enough to carry on this season. So I think that that's real important. And the reason that the Hornets even want to trade PJ Washington is the same reason that they considered it last season, is they have to pay Miles Bridges, right? Well, when Miles Bridges did what he did, it ended up opening the door for like, okay, well, he made his decision for him. Well, now that everything's kind of been resolved, now the Hornets are in a position to where, like, do we keep and pay PJ, or do we keep and pay Miles Bridges and end up letting PJ Washington go and try to get something for him, is kind of the thought process, kind of what the reason behind it was, because they're going to have to pay PJ Washington and they're going to have to pay Miles Bridges. And on top of that, you got LaMelo Ball. You're going to have, whatever assets you get in a deal. You're going to get, a lottery pick, whether it's winning Victor Wembanyama or it's, Scoot Henderson or whatever. So at this point, it would make a lot of sense that Charlotte would be interested in something like this, and that, a PJ Washington would be available, because you're looking at it as like, okay, we got, LaMelo Ball, let him rest. Let's go tank for Victor. We got Miles Bridges that we're going to have to pay. So then basically this Lakers deal would leave nothing but basically Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball. Like, that's great. Now Charlotte's got a clean slate with 2 young assets, plus whatever they end up, getting in the draft. If they land Victor, then perfect, right? You got a big 3 for the next 10 years of Bridges, LaMelo Ball, and Victor Wembanyama, right? Like, you're probably going to be one of the better teams in the next few years. Bridges is a real solid 3-and-D guy with true size, all that stuff. Like, he's a great player. He did what he did. Don't condone that, but from a basketball sense, like just strictly basketball, he is a great basketball player, and I can understand Charlotte looking at it as like, okay, like we got to pay this guy, right? So let's move off of PJ Washington, right? So that is kind of the idea. Personally, I would like to see the Lakers, maybe if they want us to take Gordon Hayward, that being a sort of an argument point from the Lakers side to get all 4, right? Like, okay, like you want us to, we want Terry Rozier, definitely, right? We would love a Kelly Oubre and we want a PJ Washington. You want us to take Gordon Hayward. Tell you what, we'll take all 4 of them. Because if you could take all 4 of them, now that really alleviates the need for, one, that gives you all that depth, but also the concern of Gordon Hayward, right? Now you got like legit 4 guys that could come in, all be real contributors, starting level players, all of that stuff. Imagine if the Lakers could land, Terry Rozier, PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre, and Gordon Hayward. Now you solved all of your wing depth issues. You solved your power forward issue. You solved your scoring, combo guard, right? That you were hoping like a Kendrick Nunn was going to be. And now you're legit. Now you got a 4-man big rotation of Anthony Davis, PJ Washington, Thomas Bryant, and Wenyen Gabriel. That is one of the best 4-man big rotations in the league, if not the best in the league. Like, you're straight there. You're good on the wings. You got great depth. You got legit size now. You got everything. And now a lot of these guys get to, again, resort back into their more natural roles. And so now you're a legit like 15 deep team. You might be one of the deepest teams in the league. And how the Lakers would be able to achieve that is you just add Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, and if you need to, just because the money does work because of the 125% rule, but the Lakers would have about 65 and some change going out, and they would be taking in 64 and some change. But what you could do is you could just add like a Damian Jones, right? Add a Damian Jones $2 million salary. Hey, you're going to have to take Damian Jones. He might opt in next year. That's $2 million towards your cap. But we're taking $150 million in cap from you. So then in that case, now you have 4 guys going out, 4 guys coming in. You're straight. You're in that position. If you want to keep Matt Ryan, you can keep Matt Ryan just for that extra, shooting to have. And we know that he's not afraid of the big moment. He hit a big shot. Or you could waive him and see what you get on the buyout market. Whatever. It gives you possibilities and potential. But this, I think, would be my approach and my argument, I guess, would be like, hey, we'll take Gordon Hayward and we'll take Terry Rozier. That's, $150 million off your books. We want Kelly Oubre and we want PJ Washington. And then we'll give you, 3 expiring contracts, and we'll give you as well, a Damian Jones. So that way you at least have, another big guy. You have somebody that can play a little bit. Maybe he'll be better for you than for us. But, even if he doesn't, it's $2 million on your books, but we're taking $150 million, right? Now you're doing a clean 4-player for 4-player swap. Everybody's happy. Everybody wins. The Hornets, they get an asset. They move off of all that salary, and now they're embracing the tank for Victor Wembanyama. Because it's not like they're going to turn it around. They're a bad team. LaMelo Ball can't stay healthy. Let him rest this year. Let him take his time getting back. Now you don't have to rush him to get back. You don't have to do anything. You're bad. Embrace the tank. You're losing anyway. Get off of that salary. Take these assets. Take these guys. You got Kendrick Nunn. If Kendrick Nunn is great for you, then you can re-sign him next year. If you don't, then let him go. You got Patrick Beverley, who can be a real locker room guy for this team, and if you want, just let him go. If you want to keep him, you can keep him. If not, let him go, and all these guys expiring. Buy out Russ, all is good, and, you have these 2 guys to kind of play in the meantime until, just to have able bodies, because remember earlier I was mentioning, that they're going to need able bodies if they were to do a trade like this. Well, now you got, 3 guys that can actually play and keep out the roster. So now you're good, right? Now you have a roster that can you could at least put guys out on the court and, continue to lose games, continue to tank. And it makes a lot of sense. And you could justify, okay, we're moving off all this salary. We're going in this direction. Let's embrace the rebuild, embrace the tank. Lakers, they get what they want. It's 2 teams on opposite sides of the spectrum, right? The Lakers want to win and need to win. The Hornets want to tank and need to tank, and they're already tanking, so might as well just unload your veterans, unload your salary guys, and everyone wins. And look, I've talked about Terry Rozier on several occasions. I think Terry Rozier could be a huge impact player for the Lakers. Just a proven scorer, a guy that could go out and get you, 20 a game if you need him to. He can play on the ball. He can play off the ball. He can create his own shot, get to the basket. So I think Terry Rozier would be a nice fit with this team. Give me Terry Rozier. Give me the 2 wing players, and then give me the power forward. And these are all guys that we could have for the next several years. That's basically your team for the next several years, right? And now you're good. But, you have going forward a legit team of Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. So you got at least a 6-guy rotation for the next, at least 2 or 3 years. Right? That's a good position for the Lakers to be in. And that's something that we've talked about on several occasions as well. And many fans and just people in my comments have brought up in general is that the Lakers need, cohesiveness. They need a roster that they can keep intact for the next several years instead of this just turnout. And the problem is this free agency, there's not a ton of great free agents. A lot of them are already gone, and the ones that are there could still be gone before the Lakers even have a chance. So it's what are you going to do? What is going to be your idea? And look at it like this. Let's say Kyrie does want to come to the Lakers, and the Lakers do want Kyrie. Well, now you have tradable assets that you can then go use to go get Kyrie in a sign and trade, right? Maybe the Nets are hey, we're gonna lose Kyrie Irving for nothing, but we could take a scary Terry. At least that gives us a guy that can score and a Kyrie light, so to speak. Let's go get Terry Rozier. Maybe you could get that. And now the Lakers get, say a Kyrie Irving. And now you have Kyrie Irving, you have, Gordon Hayward, you have Kelly Oubre, you have PJ Washington, you have Anthony Davis, you have LeBron James, and just all of the Lakers' plans and ideas for next season even, you could still do with these guys, right? And they're more tradable assets, more tradable players, more tradable contracts. So I think that that's important as well going forward. But last little thing is and just in general, I mean, even if the Lakers could pull this deal and get a PJ Washington, Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, I think you have to, especially if you could do it for one first. I think you have to, because then you still have your 2029 first. You still have all your second rounds. You still have a lot of tradable assets that you could use to go get another piece, or, if you want to take one of these guys. PJ Washington is going to have value, right? He's a guy that you could end up trading later on down the road if he's not working for you. He's still young enough and talented enough to where, you could recoup some assets, but he's also young enough and talented enough that he's a guy that can be a sort of a foundation block for your future. He's only 24 years old. So, I mean, he's like a legit guy. You're getting 3 guys that are like 6'7", 6'8", so that's really good in that department. Now you got some versatility, you got some depth, you got some defenders, you got a little bit of everything. You got a 3-and-D guy, you got a do-everything guy in Gordon Hayward, you got a legit, 20-point-a-game guy in PJ Washington, and all of those things. I just think that in general, I think you're in a good position if you're the Lakers with this deal, with this trade, and I would welcome it, I would embrace it, and I would probably take it. But as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of this trade? What do you think of this deal? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you like, yes, let's do this? Would you be willing to take Gordon Hayward too for Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn? Because the way I look at it at that point, if you're doing this, if you're getting these 3 guys, you're going all in. Right? You're all right. These are your 3 guys for the future, right? So why not take a Gordon Hayward, right? If he works great, then cool. If he doesn't, then yeah, it kind of sucks, but at least you got these 3 guys. Gordon Hayward's just a free Gordon Hayward. That's basically what it is. It would basically be hey, add Gordon Hayward into it. Any production is going to be better than what Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn have been providing. Although Kendrick Nunn has been playing better the last 2 games, still, and Gordon Hayward, his versatility and size is just all around better than those 2. So you get that. If he can stay healthy and he can stay playing and he can be good, well, then that's huge for the Lakers, right? You got a potential 3rd star there. I mean, Gordon Hayward is a legit, 25-5 guy for his career. I mean, this is a guy that can do a little bit of everything, and he could be a real value. And maybe playing on a deep Lakers team like this, maybe he wouldn't have the injury issues because he wouldn't have to do as much, and he could play lesser minutes, stuff like that. It's just a thought, it's just an idea. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between, down in the comment section below.